Good evening, Michael here.
And I'm Matthew.
Wow, there we go. Split like squirrel. Who am I?
I am a squirrel. Have you seen me at night?
I give up. I give up. I don't have energy. No, whatever.
What? Oh wait, wait,
So what
wait, wait a minute. Hold up. You just told me you had lots of energy, too much
I
energy. Now you
do,
said
I
you don't have energy.
do.
What the
I don't have
fuck?
energy for bullshit.
What's going on here? You have energy
I've
for
got, plenty-
bullshit,
I've got plenty of energy, just not for bullshit.
not for shit. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
What?
This is
Okay.
that's actually probably one of our part of the topics today. I think. But anyway.
A lot of bullshit lately.
mm,
But you know what I do? I take a good, nice mug of I forgive you.
I just drink some oat milk. I feel forgiven.
You bought the crappy shit.
Bitch.
I
Excuse
mean,
me.
I mean,
Hey, I'm on a budget over here. I get what the
you don't
I
need a
get
budget for good oat milk. It's just meaning like you're not buying all the extra
I
crap in it.
I get well I get what they feed the peasants.
Peasant.
Yes, I get what they feed the peasants. Poor people food.
Why is my camera keep doing this? Whatever. All right. So, topic today: forgiveness.
Yes.
I
So,
don't forgive you.
well, you know what? That's on you because I forgive myself.
You mean you're secure in yourself and your attachment and like not gonna succumb to like my petty toxicity?
No. In fact, I'm just gonna stare at you in like complete silence.
What kind of relationship is this? You mean there's something that possible as like secure, healthy attachment with boundaries? I
Oh
don't know
yes.
her.
You don't know her? No. Well, actually, it's a yes. Well, it actually go in. That's like getting different topics. Like, well, it's like there's different ways you can display that. It's more. It's still more about just being like authentic to yourself, regardless. So whatever that is. What is authenticity?
Whatever that is.
Whatever it is, we must say. Everybody has their own whatever they want. They call themselves. So
Alrighty, let's go with
yes, go ahead.
that.
Whatever they
So,
want to
all
call
right,
themselves. Yes.
quick question, Matthew. Who is for or what is forgiveness for? Like who benefits from it the most? Or who
The
should
self.
benefit from it?
The
There you
self.
go. The
And
self. Because why? It's okay to be selfish. Why? Again, tying it back to self-love. You don't love yourself. You can't forgive yourself. You're not doing anybody else a favor.
no, you're not. And let's see, like I guess, yeah, because the self is really the most important one, but it also, let's see here. Hmm. Well, because like you and also you have the power in your own hands, and
Yes.
hmm,
Reclaim your power.
reclaim the power.
But if you just had to, it's like, again, like validation. If you're always seeking it from somebody else, I mean, no, it's nobody's job to do that. And to
Yeah,
expect that from anybody else, I would just say foolishness because all you're doing is just causing yourself more heartache and wasting time, wasting energy. Whenever you could have been this whole time loving and forgiving yourself for your own humanity and just forgiving other people for their humanity. Like, in all honesty, we all suck. And that's not a bad thing.
yeah.
Like,
So and so you got that. That's the main one. Yeah, that's the main one. And so actually, let's go over this. So what? So how are we gonna lay this out? Because I know we got both the self and we got others as well. Like we want how does it
mhm.
impact others, and then we got
Oh, how does
self.
it impact others? Okay, you say that. If you can forgive yourself for all your shortcomings, it allows you, especially if you don't give a crap about other people's opinions, and you
Mm-hmm.
just want to, like, it allows you to be like, you know what? I'm comfortable and secure within myself. I forgive myself of all like the past. I'm just gonna be me. And
Yes.
I don't give two shits about whatever everybody else's opinion. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna smile and enjoy my day, I don't care about other people's doom and or like their Debbie Downer selves.
Yes.
I
So
choose for
hmm, I'm trying to think like, what if there's like a good example here
I know I'm
of
trying to
like,
think about that too because I
because
do
I feel
it,
like an
but
example would be help. Because like, okay, so
it's
like,
again, it's tying back to that I love me.
yes, and I think well, okay, so a lot of things whenever I go in forgiveness, I think the biggest thing I take away when I go down the route, at least the ones I've gone through with forgiveness, a lot of it, and the reason why like a lot of things you'll probably hear from me is about bringing inner child out. It's like it's usually an inner child healing type of work
Yes.
because it allows you to be authentic. It lets you be more authentic to yourself, and there's a lot that yes. So I was something actually when I was talk I had some was conversation about there. I was trying to bring out a little bit too with that. It
Yeah.
was like okay, so I guess is where I'm trying to figure out where should we start first here because it's
Well,
like
okay. At least with that thought and topic, that reminded me of like traumatic event responses. So like most of the time, if there's any like guilt that comes up after like whatever event is, whether it's in your childhood or so on, oftentimes there's a sense of guilt of like what you did or didn't do.
right.
And that's why
I,
a lot of things like that, especially whenever I think about that, especially like in childhood, you don't have enough preconception
mm-hmm.
of like other people make mistakes too. Or
Yes.
like you can it's hard to conceptualize the world, and so the only thing you can do, especially the child, is internalize it
I'm trying
and
to figure
leave.
because
Which is
I
why
think
a lot of people have struggled with like self-hatred, self
mm-hmm.
um loathing,
Yes.
because they don't forgive themselves for what they did or didn't do. And you know what? 9 times out of 10, you're never gonna respond correctly or have the right answers. And that's
Yes.
okay. That's humanity.
Because like as you're growing up when you go through childhood also it's like you're learning how to work within the bounds of the household as you go up as well, like where you fit into that. So you might be molded into a certain way, and
Mm-hmm.
so you get used to like wearing this a certain mask as you go through, and then
Yeah.
when you come out, it's like there's a lot of healing that may have to be done, especially if when you go through that, depending on what household you went through, because it's like
Well, and sometimes your child, like your household, is both your what's that? It's your comfort and safety, but also your biggest contributor to your
yeah, and like and how you experience the world around you as well
Mhm.
afterwards. Um,
A lot of nature and nurture.
yes. Um, So let's see. I'm trying to think because as we've been kind of going all over the place. I was like, I'm trying to figure out where exactly we are, and so I'm like trying to think which one, what topic should we
Well,
cover, and how we should cover. I'm like, where just what to
let's
really
talk
dig
about
into.
let's talk about relationships then, just to get some. Because what is it? If you're having to forgive somebody, you probably have some kind of relationship with that person.
Yes. So
So what are some benefits of that? Like not just for the other, not really for the other person, but for yourself if you can forgive the other person.
it does release um energy holding on to that like in a way it will keep you it's like because what happens if you don't it can be resentment that can build up
Yep.
which adds to like shut like an example would be shutting down. So it can lead like resentment start shutting down, like you start to pull back, start to withdraw slowly as things kind of get because you know there's still this issue that's unresolved. If more
Yes.
issues get unresolved, shut down even more. This is how I feel like I've experienced it in my past. And it's like
Mm.
you start pulling away because it's like now you have nothing that you can talk about anymore because it's like you don't know what you can talk about or what you can discuss.
Ooh, like walking in eggshells.
Yeah, so it's like or like without people pleasing.
Yes. And placating to everybody. Like sorry. Like what's that? At the end of the day, you're not gonna please everyone, and you're not gonna say the right things. And with that, what's that? With any like relationship, it's two to tango. So bit of a back and forth, like as much as you have to be willing, like that's why I always like start back with the self part, because at the end of the day, you can lose that person and it's fine because you love and forgive yourself. But if they're willing
Yes.
to like, forgive and still work and love themselves as well, like then there's harmony. And it's a back and forth of not being able to take everything personally
Yes.
or like, and even if you do take it personally, which is fine, as long as you can talk it out and like, okay, I had this reaction
Mm-hmm.
and I don't quite understand it, but I am sorry and like please or hope you can forgive me.
Yes.
And the other person, yeah, no problem. Like
Yes.
let's talk through some of this. Let's work this out. Let's see like what's going on there.
I think this also requires an understanding. Like it also requires, hopefully, both people have this understanding because it makes it a lot more. It makes it a lot more like um,
Cohesive?
reciprocal, then at least, or
Yeah.
cohesive. Because it's like necessary. You don't necessarily have to be the same part in a journey of like where you are
Mhm.
healing or not. What matters is
Yeah.
that is you can understand that this person may have something that may be bugging you, and they might have something to be bugging, but the forgiveness allows for that. Like, okay, maybe there might need to be some extra work here, or like maybe there's some ignorance on the other person's part, or your part, or vice
Right.
versa, and it lets you look at it from an angle like, hey, like it's like this part like people grow up in their own circumstances. People understand like I may like this person for all these reasons, and I know understand that this thing may bug me, but it doesn't it doesn't change whether I love this person or not necessarily.
Which I want you then to expound on like not wanting to fix other people. Like tied into that.
Yes, so this of course this is getting into an ideal situation like when you're actually if you're trying to select a partner is like um is like yeah you can have like idea like you find things that you may they may have traits that you like about it, but not everybody's. But they're not. But everybody's different to some extent. There's like no matter how much you already like, there's always gonna be something a little bit different. And so that's where it's like, you know what? Like the idea is to be in my you go into it knowing that you like all these traits and you're fine with
Hmm.
these other ones never change. Like would it be great? Like yes, if they change, that's on them.
But
But
that's
one of those
on them.
things
I love them
this
regardless.
guys, it's like those things may never change about this
Unless it's
person.
toxic,
And
that's different. But if it's just like part of who they are, like, and it's not harming, I don't. As long as I, in my opinion, as long as it's not harming anybody, and so, because I was just a preference that, because it's like maybe they're a little bitchy or like a little what's that snarky or rude or whatever. But at the end of the day, you don't owe anybody um your kindness. I would say. Is it nice to be kind? Yes. But like at the end of the day, I love this person and like maybe they don't always like say the most socially correct thing or regardless of whatever it is, like I know what that person's intentions and feelings are regardless of how they come across. So like
right, yeah, and
it may
also
cause awkward situations, but I still love that person regardless.
yes,
So
and this is where it's like this is where like you have to decide on your own. It's like hey, it's like you may value this particular thing more. It's like you can still, and I think this is where it takes pride. Like you can still live within your own morals still, or your own way of like
yeah.
your own values or how you want to present it,
Hmm.
without having to necessarily try to get the other person to change that. And like,
Hmm.
and there's a reason why I like that method a little bit. It's hard to do because like there's something I think there's maybe something deeper down that makes you want to fight and want that change no matter like something's like well, always want the little may want the other person maybe a little bit better in this way or that way, but in that sense it's like who's actually determining what's better or what's
Right.
actually
And
better.
what are you doing on yourself?
Yes, ideally the way I see it is we both do your thing and then whatever, and if maybe if something is actually better through how that works, maybe the actions may show that it is, and maybe that person may think about what one or the other may think that might be the better way, or they may
Maybe.
never think it's a better way. But you don't actually push it that way. Like it's like it may or may
Exactly.
not. It's like
Well, and even in relationships, what's that? who's the one person that's still gonna love you no matter what at the end of the day?
It has to be you
You.
first. Yes.
Exactly. Like who's taking care of you at the end of the day? You. Now,
Yes.
if it like at the end of the day still like there's goals and ideas like I should be taking care or like helping out or working together on certain things, but at the end of the day you're still two individual
Yes.
people.
And even when it's with others, I still think it's like it's this is where I do think forgive yourself is very it's still about forgiving yourself even when you're forgiving and forgiving others because it's like
Exactly.
sometimes it's like a lot of my things whenever or this is why I actually think it is really more important if it is you're forgiving yourself because like because it also makes it easier to forgive others but also it's that it's like sometimes like we was talking about earlier like about eggshells and things like that we're talking about like
Yeah.
what where we need to walk on eggshells or not um
Right.
like sometimes like if I say something like maybe I say something in a context taken out of hand or maybe like I didn't say something the right way I need to be able to forgive myself because sometimes like I it's like sometimes it's like I usually feel it on my own regardless of whether the other person because I was like I did not mean to cause harm in that situation whenever it happened I'll feel that with sometimes
Yeah, because like
and
what was that? Like whenever we were going back from what's that, Louisiana to like Texas or whatever, like we were caught in that traffic. I
mm-hmm.
can't remember what you said or whatever, but like what did you say? Because I was like, I'm gonna stop before I say anything and like reassess. Like I know Matthew.
Oh, I just said I was just like I was being kind of in my mind. I was kind of like I just pick off and turn off somewhere over here, and I guess you may be like you may have interpreted it as me giving an order whenever
Right, and I
like
was like,
I when I was just being playful about it,
right,
and
but I didn't
so
interpret
yeah,
that way because like all I was paying attention to was the tone, the delivery, and I was like,
mm,
hold on a second, like let me calm whatever's in me welling up
mm,
for a second. And it was like, it's okay. Like
yes,
again, self, like you're good.
yes,
You know
and like
Matthew, and it's fine. Like, and so then I like, hey, what do you mean? Or like, how did we start that? Like, because I interpreted that
yeah,
way.
yes you did, and I appreciate when you did that, and
Right.
it's just like, but also on my end, even though like I explained it in myself, I still felt bad that I may have actually made you feel a certain way
But
about
like,
that.
like
And then
I
it's
just
like,
wanted the clarity or like
yes.
clarification. Like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
But this is where I'm getting like that. It's like where it's like because I will like if I say something that's interpreted when I didn't mean it, like I will still feel it, and that's why I have to like actually. This is where self forgiveness. Like yes, you can ask for forgiveness, but you still got to forgive yourself regardless because like you know what, it's like I didn't. The intention there. I got to release that. It's like hey, you know what? It's like I'm sure I'm sure like if things all good, it will work out regardless. It
I know
doesn't matter.
because I was
So it's
thinking,
like
like, did he just like give me an order or like told me to turn it over? Like, "E- excuse you, like the wrong person to talk to like that.
yes, but it's like this is one of those things where it's like it's like this is the first time like this is why it's good to have this because sometimes you might get in a situation where you're not used to like interacting the person in a certain way, like
Yes,
you're both in like this
right.
frustrating situation like it's frustrating to me it's frustrating to you and like what like you're frustrated in one way and I may like in that situation I may be trying to make it lighthearted and I might be trying to playful but because the frustration it might want us to be interpreting it
Right,
as a
because I
certain
was
way.
focused on like, how do we get out of this? Like,
Yes, and I was
and
kind
then
of
you
doing
just
it, but
told me,
like,
I'm like, you just told me like turn off here, and I'm like, I didn't see you pull up the map. I didn't see like you looked in your map.
yes, and it's a funny situation, but it's like it's those, but also this is where it kind of comes into like, um, those situations. It's like that's an example of a maybe a tough situation still though, that like actually still turns out nicer because you actually learn how the person
Exactly, and we
responds to
got to
that.
laugh about it the whole way. Like it was fine. Like that's the
Yes,
thing. Like communicating, forget like me having to stop for a second because like I know Matthew, I know Matthew, I know Matthew. He's not an asshole. He doesn't talk or like that's not it.
yes.
That's not how he communicates to me. So it's like let me ask for clarification.
Yes.
Because
Well,
I'm
that's also
like,
because it's like because like when we're hanging out, like I don't always get them, so I don't always get to show that like that. It's like it's
oh my
playful,
gosh,
but it's
that
playful in
day
a
was
frustrating way. I tend to
that
take
day was so
situations and like
good.
to be play with them. So it's
No,
like,
but that day was so good because like I always have like I had
mm,
a almost a full blown panic attack while driving, and then all of a sudden like we get into Houston. Finally get to Houston. I'm tired, and I just start losing it. Just insanity coming out of my mouth, and you're just like, oh.
yeah. And actually, that's even better because like that's a situation where it's just like, you know what? It's like I think that's the point where just like the filth, like just like the you actually everything just kind of like
Yeah,
I don't
filter
care,
gone.
filter gone, and actually that's one of, in my opinion, it's like one of the best things to see because it's like,
Exactly, because like at least with both of us, I feel like we can say because we understand and can forgive each other of anything, like and just accept it. So we can almost say like anything to each other, and we can laugh about it. We can talk about it, like, and even if it's serious, like you can be serious and still like, what's that? Because I know some people like. All depends on the situation, but like sometimes like I can handle like, oh, I would like a little comedy to or like to break up the severity of the situation.
mm,
Or no, I'm being dead serious, like meet me halfway or whatever. And like
yes,
it's fine. Just to accept like people handle stress, grieve, whatever the situation differently. Like again, you can't fault somebody or like you shouldn't fault somebody for like emoting the way they are. If you need humor, go for it. And maybe the person who is being serious, maybe they need a little humor too, and they should like what's that? Have a little self
yes,
forgiveness. It's like it's okay if I laugh. It's okay if I
mm-hmm,
like
yes. Because
grieve.
like because you know I'll like with me I had different ones, but sometimes it'll be serious, sometimes it'll be laughter, and like sometimes that's like that situation. It's like it's a mix of seriousness and laughter at the same time. It's like, you know, it's like also not 100%. It's like serious. There's a little frustration, but I try to turn it into like it's
Yes.
like, hey, you know, like it's like let's come up with a plan. Let's see where we can go. Like let's not make it so like, you know, it's like
Yes.
so serious. Like that's like I do like that's one thing is like I think sometimes bring a laughter into serious in tough situations can bring it
Mhm.
down, and like I think it adds. Or this is probably more a talk about like communication though. It's like
I know
actually.
we're getting off into the weeds. I feel
It's
like
like,
we had let's see.
mm, did, let's see, but yeah,
The point is at the end of the day, we're all flawed, we're all human, and a little bit of grace
mm,
for yourself and for others goes a long way. And just being able to accept the shit of reality.
yeah. Because like I know when I was reflecting on this, because this was a card that I like really was like at the beginning, like doing a lot of reflecting. It's just like I just remember like in past with deal with people like a lot. The biggest thing I always just remember that was almost that could almost be a deal breaker was whether we can forgive the other person or not, or vice
Ooh.
versa. Like it's almost
If they
like
couldn't forgive you, or if you couldn't forgive them, or both.
it's a bit of both, or it could be
Okay.
one or the other. Because when you can forgive yourself still,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, if the other person can't forgive you, regardless, you still then you gotta also at that go all the way to forgiving yourself for being in that situation.
Yes, because well, but then that's what you're like. Again, that's the difference between blind acceptance versus oh, I accept this toxic situation for what it is. Therefore, I'm
Yeah.
going to self love, get myself out of this.
Yes, because it's like there's nothing
And
worse than being in a situation where it's like you can forgive the other person, but like they can't forgive you.
exactly.
And it's like that's the way my default usually is to forgive because I don't like holding on energy. I like giving
Oh my gosh,
restarts.
what is it? I know some people like that can actually hold on to a grudge. Which okay, I've had to. What's that? I had to discuss this with them because, like, I agree with you. I don't have energy to be angry and
No.
hold grudges with people. But the difference is, which I was talking to a few, it's like, now you mess with somebody I care about.
Mm.
Oh, I can hold a grudge for you're dead to me.
I
Like,
and I think the reason why I'm that way is because I do take that um I do when I like whenever I'm sorry about something or whatever I do take that seriously, and it's
yes,
because and I it's it goes both the way because I also know how it feels to not be forgiven from the other person, and it hurts.
It does.
And so like it's like I don't want like I wouldn't want that for someone else. So that's like why I can't. That's why I feel like I will forgive pretty much
Yeah.
unless it's just let's just like some let's just like someone committing like a crazy crime or something like that.
You
But
see,
even
though,
then, it's like I could
I
forgive,
don't
but I might have to separate from the situation though. But you know,
exactly because,
yeah,
like, what's that? I've even thought about like to the worst heinous crimes
yeah,
that anybody could possibly imagine, and all I like, what's that? The way I look at them is they're still a person at the end of the
mm,
day. What they did, I can't condone it.
yeah,
Wrong. Whatever, like society, whatever standards, moral value, everything wrong. But that's still a person.
yes. It's still a
So,
person,
right.
and like also that means also in more innocent,
I
even
would
more
give them
innocent
a break, yeah.
situations, then it's like even he's just like as well. That's still we're still a person like you don't always know what's going to happen. You don't always know your reactions in the moment. Especially if you're
Exactly.
aware of them. Like especially if they show they have the awareness of
Mhm.
what's going wrong or what they did wrong. Then it's like the
Not
awareness is
even that,
sometimes
because
almost enough too. It's like
what- not even I don't even need them to be aware of it because then that's going into like more mental cases.
oh you're right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, be careful with that one. But at the end of the day, you do not like we're still all connected in
Mm-hmm.
human beings at the end of the day. You can't sit on your in your palace and just say, "Oh, I'd never do that,"
Yes.
or "I could never get there." No,
Yes.
no, bullshit. We're all
Yeah.
capable of the most horrific
Yes,
atrocities.
but yeah,
So
that's one reason like I really want to go into because like that was one that like struck me the most is like the inability to forgive in a relationship is like the biggest or anybody like even if it's just like friendships or whatever the inability to forgive the other person is like okay yes this is why self it is but I do also think it's also why this is important for people for I think like more forgiveness around in general too because it's like it now like
it also
like there
should,
because like it's still a person and like not everybody's like it's sometimes like they don't actually mean to do that and it's like you don't it's like or do things or it just or it's like things they
we
don't
don't just literally
understand
pop in
yeah
our lizard brains
mm-hmm.
and we just lizard brains and we just
And
act
yes
on like our impulse and like
yes and like in my case it's like that's being able to make those mistakes is what allows me to let my hair down and be a little crazy
yes, and like at the end of the day. Don't you want to be authentic? Don't you want to like
mm-hmm.
not feel the constraints and weight
And also
of everybody's unrealistic expectations of you whenever you're just you at the end of the day?
and yes and also one of the big and mistakes the more like for me, it's like it's
You
unfortunately
learn
for
from
me the
mistakes.
mistakes are like the more mistakes you make the faster you learn too it's like
Exactly.
and it's
Trial by
like
error.
especially when there's grace for those mistakes but like yes there can be
Grace
some
is a good thing.
accountability or at least know like what how that affect like that doesn't mean you still can't communicate how things make you feel or not but it's
Yes.
still like
Ooh, then
yes
that's a good point because like in like couples
mm-hmm.
counseling and stuff, it's like don't say, well, you do this or you do that. No, no, it's a bunch of I feel statements. I feel disappointed when you do this,
Yes,
or I feel like I'm not loved or valued when you do this, or this. Like,
yes,
that's
and
fine. Express that your feelings are
express it
valid, but
what I'm thinking even
you-
more in that, what actually get out, like yes, they're valid, but I think expressing them then also expressing the actual intent behind them as well
yes,
is the bigger thing because then it's like okay, yes, there's like, and then the reason why is because yes, I may want to change that about, may want to work to change on that for you, but I can't promise I can do that overnight, and
no,
so
but
it's
in
like yes,
management, like
yes, and
we're
it's like
human, it's
And
fine.
if I do it, it's like I want to do it naturally in a way that feels still the most freeing way possible. Like where it's like
Mhm.
I don't want to feel like I'm going into eggshells really quick, but I also want, I still
No,
want to
let it be
respect.
that.
I still want to respect your feelings, and I, at least at the minimum, at least want to acknowledge them, and while I figure out how to work on it, and like it's okay if you
And
like
maybe it's just
then call
something
and
like
go ahead and like you like maybe I want you to let me know every time I do it or maybe not every time but how frequently but just like let me also be able to explain that hey
that, or if it's just
here's like
something that like triggers a what is a trauma response or
mm-hmm,
something that maybe it's on me to like just relearn to rewatch. Like it's not like the intent behind it is not what I'm perceiving it to be,
Yes.
and that's okay. I'll just tell myself like, okay, I understand where this feeling comes from. It comes from something back then, but that's not the world I live in now.
Yes.
That's not what this person is trying to convey.
Yes.
I'm okay. You're okay. We're good. Let's go.
Yep. And so like and also let's and like so like sometimes like that also it also can also that's also I think forgiveness comes into that even on yourself as well, because you come back to it's like when you start doing that, if you start doing the forgiveness work on yourself when you do those things also,
I'm
it's
sorry for
like
overreacting and about to chew
you
your
might
head
be able to
off.
stake the you might be able to change your emotions, you might be able to rewire your subconscious a little bit, it's
It's
like
so much shit self-talk can do.
you can. And yeah, so that's how I like on that. I think that's the reason why I want to go down, because like I think it was hit home because I was thinking I was going back and I was just thinking about like it wasn't just that, it was also well, I also saw the video about us. There's a really good video out there on love in general, um, that I was watching the other day from Joe
But
Dispenza as well. So it
you,
was about love, and it was I love this. He was great, but that's when he talked. But when it came up in that subject, it was probably a little bit in. He talks about like what's the most success, what's the successful relationships, what's the thing you see the people do the most, and it's that they forgive each other. The ones that last long and like most quality, it's like they forgive each other,
well,
and
and
that
I
was
think
like,
that you gotta think about this. You're here as a human for a very
mm-hmm,
short time. Gotta tell you, I don't have the energy to, I don't have the energy to waste on not forgiving or holding on to things that do not serve or promote my betterment and
yes,
well-being.
because like sometimes like all it is like yes like we're gonna be in there, it's like sometimes it's just nice to have that companion, and it's like that's going to be, you have to love them regardless, and it's like
Yeah,
you don't want to let some like the worst things is like let
something
some like little
trivial.
things just start chip away at that and pull that back, and it's like now you have this best friend that's just like pulling apart, and it's because of like things forgive little forgiveness things
We
that it's
could have
just
just
like
talked about
yeah,
it.
yes, it's like yes, you want to keep your best friend around. If you had someone to keep that best friend around in your life,
Yes.
it's like,
Set up
because that's
boundaries. Talk shit
yes,
out. Forgive each other for your faults. Like it's
yes,
otherwise it's time to reevaluate your friendship or your
you're
commitment, whatever
commit.
kind of commitment you
Yes, whatever
have.
kind of commitment level you is. Like for me, like I like to say, it's like it's like it's like I guess for me, it's like I hope that like that person is my best friend, because it's like that's that point, because you're at that level where you communicate like that, and some people may be different situation for everybody. But even if it's just regular friendships and other people in your life, even if it's
Yeah.
family, old family, sometimes like maybe like that there's communication that can be had there or whatever, So it's like forgiveness, but of course that goes around mostly with yourself first. Because
Always
also
so.
there's a thing that there's a reason why it's more interesting, because like it can change your energy as well, how you
Yes.
present yourself. Like it can show that you're not affected
No. And
by
you're
by by
comfortable.
by the resentment of others.
Yes. Because
And
who gives a damn?
what does that say? It's like now, if you're not affected by it, like some people might be thriving off that power that they have over you.
Ooh, that's a disturbing thought.
Not saying that
Like,
they are. They may not even know. They may not even be aware that they're doing
oh yeah,
that.
most of the time,
They
no,
don't even
but
know
like
that. Yeah, it's
that's,
like
that's trapping yourself in your own thought process,
it's
which
like
that's even more
yeah, it's
terrifying.
like it's like they don't even know. It's like this is just how they know how this is how they operate, and they just assume that everything's like all fine and dandy. And that is a situation also where maybe that's might be who they are as well. But it's like that is where communication would probably come in play. But but also that person just may be a different part of their journey as well.
We're all on our
Yes.
own journey at our own time.
Yeah. So yeah, all in our own
I think
time.
yeah, I think it's a wrap. I feel okay. By the way, preference for all of you out there, if you could follow that train of thought and bouncing all over the place, good on you.
We were hyper caffeinated today.
We are hyper caffeinated. God damn. I've had nothing but coffee and green tea and all kinds of other crap all day today. I'm motivated. Matcha, matcha,
Yes, but
matcha.
yes,
But no, good energy. And as always, comment in this like comment any thoughts, any helpful tips that you can think of that you know of. Because anybody could be looking and always can help out somebody else. And if you have a story, I don't know if you want to type it all out in the comment section, but like anything that you have, something worth mentioning, something worth noting.
yes, yes. I mean, there's a lot more I could go. There's an example I was
There's
thinking
so
of
much
that'd be
more,
really
but I
great.
feel
There's
like
so
we're
much
about
more.
to.
You're about to go. It's like yes,
We've got time. We've got
we got
time.
time. But this is where we can go into different
So, yeah.
sections. But yes,
And as always, like, share, subscribe, like any other YouTube channel.
yes.
And hope you're staying safe. Hope you're well. Love you. Bye bye.
Bye. Okay.